forever tree. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful kingdom called the Land of Joy. In this kingdom lived a kind and beautiful princess named Sarah. Princess Sarah was known throughout the kingdom for her kindness, compassion, and good heart. One day, while walking in the royal garden, Princess Sarah came across a strange and unique tree. This tree was unlike any other. Its roots were golden, and its branches seemed to reach the sky. The leaves shimmered like light, and a sweet fragrance surrounded it. Curious Princess Sarah touched the tree, and immediately one of its branches lowered, dropping a glowing flower into her hand. As she held the flower, a magical voice spoke. "O kind princess, this is the forever tree. Whoever touches it with love and truth in their heart will have happiness and love in their life forever. But remember, only a heart full of sincerity and trust can receive its powers." Princess Sarah made a promise to herself that she would always help people with honesty and trust. She sat under the tree and prayed that love and happiness would always prevail in her kingdom. A few days later, the people of the kingdom learned about the magical tree Princess Sarah had found, and they began to visit it. However, when some approached the tree with selfish intentions, the tree refused to share its magic with them. Princess Sarah gently explained to everyone, "This tree only understands love and sincerity. If you live with a true heart and care for others, only then will you receive its blessings." From that day on, the people of the kingdom lived with love, truth, and trust, and they remained happy forever. Princess Sarah's story of kindness and love was cherished and remembered for generations. Princess. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Zari. Zari was known throughout the land for her beauty, kindness, and bright smile. But there was one thing she loved the most: her red shoes. Whenever she stepped out of the palace, she always wore her favorite red shoes. These shoes were a special gift from her late mother, and for Zari, they weren't just shoes, but a memory of her mother. Every time she wore them, she felt confident and unique. One day, an old woman came to the palace and said to Zari, "Oh, princess, your red shoes are lovely, but do you know there's a wizard in the distant forest who can make shoes that give you the power to fly?" Zari was filled with curiosity and thought to herself, "If I had such shoes, I could see the whole world." Zari quickly summoned her maid and said, "Take me to the forest. I must meet this wizard." The maid warned her, "Princess, the wizard's forest is dangerous, and the wizard is not an ordinary man." But Zari was determined and set off on her journey to the forest with her maid. Along the way, Zari met several creatures. First, she encountered a rabbit who said, "Oh, princess, do you really need magical shoes?" Zari replied, "I want to see the world, and these shoes will give me that chance." The rabbit smiled and said, "But your own shoes are beautiful, and they remind you of your mother. Isn't that enough?" As she traveled further, Zari met a deer who said, "Oh, princess, to see the world, you don't need magical shoes. You need an open heart and loving friends." Zari thought to herself, "Perhaps these creatures are right, but I will still meet the wizard." When Zari reached the deep forest, she saw a small hut. This was the wizard's home. Inside, she found an old man who smiled and said, "What brings you here, princess?" Zari explained that she wanted magical shoes that would give her the power to fly. The wizard chuckled and said, "Your red shoes can give you even more power than flying if you listen to the truth of your heart." Zari was surprised. "The truth of my heart?" The wizard nodded. "Your happiness is not in shoes, but inside you. If you understand the truth in your heart, you won't need any magic." Zari thought about the wizard's words and reflected on her journey. She realized that the true happiness in life comes from love, friendship, and simplicity, not from magical powers. She looked down at her red shoes and smiled. "These are the most precious shoes I have because they remind me of my mother." Zari returned to her palace, But this time she was known, not for her red shoes, but for her beautiful heart and her warm smile. Shine. The Magical Princess's Adventure. One day, Shimmer and Shine, the magical princesses, were playing in their enchanted world called Zarame. There were colorful castles, sparkling trees, and shining stars everywhere. Shimmer picked up her magical wand and said, "Today, let's create something new and magical. What do you think?" Shine smiled and replied, "Yes, but we must be careful not to make any mistakes." Together, they made a bright magical ball, but as soon as they let it go, it flew up and hit the castle roof with a loud bang. A big hole appeared in the roof. Shimmer and Shine were worried. They quickly went to their friend Leah, who was a wise genie. Leah said, "Don't worry, you've made a mistake. But in the magical world, every mistake has a solution." Leah pulled out her magical book and said, "You two must work together with friendship and love to fix this problem. Magic only works when the heart is pure and the intention is good." Shimmer and Shine looked at each other, smiled, and said, "We trust our powers. Together, we can fix this." They held hands and spoke the magical words from their hearts. Suddenly, the castle roof began to fix itself, and everything returned to normal. Shimmer said, "We learned that magic works best when there is love and trust in the heart." Shine added, "And most of all, we should always help each other." With that, the two princesses happily went back to playing in their magical world.